Welcome back to another episode of RC Underground Radio. I'm here with Ryan Ratzloff, and we are going to talk about some things. So, Ryan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. What's good, man?
Well,
tell me what we're talking about today.
Well, the topic is, as we're trying to grow this, obviously we're doing the podcast, but something that we haven't really talked about is that we actually have a YouTube channel also for the RC Underground. And, I just thought maybe we talk a little bit about where it's at, what it is, and then kind of what our future scope is on it. I know you're a big YouTuber, so.
I'm the biggest YouTuber ever. And it's not because I post stuff, it's because I watch stuff. YouTube is just this awesome platform, a lot like podcasts, where you can you go to it, you find something that interests you, and then all this other stuff pops up that's related, right? So,
sure.
I've been watching YouTube for eons. I think for me, it really started out with Jay Leno's Garage. I love that kind of thing. And, I watch the guys hunt a front, a bunch of guys down south doing dirt late model racing, and their Jay Dickens motor for Mr. Mark Langenfelder.
It's amazing where those guys came from.
Oh, yeah, they were nothing.
Yeah, when you watch the first ones, they had to move cars around in an old tin garage just to make room to work on the car they're going to work on now.
They're a bunch of goons. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. They're fun to watch. I'm a big fan of Vice Grip Garage. I love Derek. Feller, that feller's got it all figured out. My latest one that I'm just really into is Landon Huffman, right? He's a late model stock car driver out of Hickory, North Carolina, won the track championship. Just a cool dude. His whole crew, they're just this band of misfit dudes, and it's just it's addicting, right? But one of the cool things that Landon does is, and you guys got to check him out. It's just Landon Huffman on YouTube.
And they've just launched a podcast too, right?
They did, and I love it. I mean, it runs a close second to ours, and I don't want to take anything away from those fellers, but they're okay-ish. But I do listen every week to them. But
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, they're good group of guys. I love RJ and Seth, and I'll tell you, Moonhead. I want to go to Pockets and Brews with Moonhead.
We are going there one day. If we go to Race City. We're gonna swing over.
We're gonna go check out Huffman Racing and
for sure.
Go to Pockets of Brews. I'm in. So with YouTube, I'm into it. I mean, my wife, nightly routine, right, is grab my phone, throw my AirPods in, and I fall asleep watching YouTube. It's something that kind of numbs me a little bit and just gets me relaxed. But as it relates to what we're doing, right? We got George Mari, who records all of our races, multiple angles, and I watch the heck out of him.
So I'm curious on that. Question just came to mind on that. So when you watch those videos, are you watching them just to see what you did? Or like a football player, are you using that footage are you watching game film to maybe learn some things about your competitors, or is it just for entertainment?
Initially it started out as entertainment, right? But, the thing about the underground is everybody's so freaking talented, so it's okay, I got to gain an edge, right? The first thing I do is just watch it, pure entertainment, because it's usually it's fresh. George will post them up pretty quickly. And then I get into the analytical side, right? And me, that's kind of my bag. I always want to be better. So I watch myself. I hone in. The second time I watch it, I'm actually watching myself and watching my racing line. And for those of you who have checked out the videos, it's a pretty poor racing line, but I'm working on it. I promise you.
You won the Kenman.
Okay,
I got to remind you that every time.
It doesn't mean anything. I don't win them all, and that's the problem. And so I watch that. I watch it. How I can improve. When I get in traffic and running alongside other drivers, because the last thing I want to do is wreck somebody's race, right? And
so let's just kind of set the stage here for some people that might be listening for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know when it jumps in. So when Ryan's talking about racing, we run RC cars, 1/18 scale on a foam track. It's at my house in my basement. And we've built up this persona. We market it as the RC Underground. That's why it's the Underground, because it's underground. You got to take steps downstairs to my basement. So it's just kind of a fun play on words. But we got a logo, and and we run races every the last Saturday of the month from it's going to be September through May, and just a fun thing. But we take it seriously fun, if that is a word.
I think you could consider it one. I mean, it's our hobby. Yeah. It's what we enjoy doing, but you still have the competition side of it, right? The friendly competition, we call it. So yeah, it's like, data drives decisions. Data makes you better when you can sit and analyze it. I mean, look at Formula One. Look at the data that they extract out of those cars, and they can sit behind a computer screen and say, here, you need to do this. Now we're not that advanced, right? But those videos for me are extremely helpful, because I can tell when I need to back it off, getting into a corner. I should have done that. Like I was rewatching the Midwestern. And one of the things I noticed, I was really good in 1 and 2, and then coming off of 4, I'd get a push in it. Well, it's because it wasn't arcing into the corner right. So it gave me some ideas kind of moving forward as to how I need to run the line, right? I look at that. I look at maybe if I caused an incident with another driver, right? Like, how do I improve myself so I don't wreck their race? I don't want to wreck mine either, but how do I work on that? And then the third time I watch it is I'm watching somebody else. So the Midwestern, Nick Ciccone, now 4-time champion of that race. I say that rolling my eyes because that darn guy's lights out, but I watched him a lot, right? And just looked at his consistency, how he got through traffic, how he was arcing the car into the corner, all of that. I want to learn that, right? It may not necessarily be my style, but like just to see what he did different, right? And I don't want to be Nick. I don't want to drive Nick's particular style, right? Like his car might be set up a little bit different than mine. I've got to feel it, but just how smooth he was, right? That's the guy I want to be. Mark Sweeney, you watch him race, it's every lap is the exact same, and they're fast. So watching him is it's cool, and that's what I get out of it. And the fact that you've got multiple angles, right, of the race kind of gives different perspective for each one. So I again, kudos to George Mari for that. But
I was just going to add, thank you for the views, because you said you watch like every single one.
I'm boosting your analytics.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I watch every single one 3 times, because maybe there's some other races that.
No, go ahead and say that, because then maybe everybody else will do that.
Okay, sorry. I watch every single one 47 times. But that's the neat part of it. It's the recap, and then it's funny because I was blessed to win a heat race with Aaron and I during the Midwestern, and it was for the pole position, right? So, I blasted on our 75-inch TV in our living room. I'm like, honey, look at me. I am just a wheel man. I'm thinking my wife's going to get all excited and say, wow, he's something else, right? She goes, can you turn this off? So, I mean, it's like, come on. I'm look at me. Look at what I did. And,
honey, this is important.
Yeah, it's important to me, but she could care less, put Downton Abbey back on or whatever, but which I watch too. But that's the coolest thing about the YouTube. I'm, again, being a YouTube junkie, I see where it goes, right? With like, I'll use Landon, right? He's doing his vlogs now and all that stuff, and race day vlogs. I'm really hoping we could get to that point soon too. I'm not excited about people seeing me on YouTube because I do have a face for radio. I'll be the first to admit that, but like it's neat to see. Like I want people to capture the underground because you've got the racetrack itself, but then you've got the cool pit area, nice victory lane, right? You've got your little master tower there with all the computing stuff and all that, and the smoke machine, and I think there's a disco ball or the light laser that you control too. So
you keep wishing for that. We'll see.
I want a smoke show, man. I want to roll out in some smoke one night. But so people need to experience all of that. You know, for those that can't get to the underground, that want to check us out, like getting to that point. But it just takes time to build, right? I mean, we've got so much going on. Like race days are tough, you know, but it'll be neat when we get to that point. We can capture a lot of that, because that's a lot of fun too. And just seeing everybody get along, that's cool. You know, I think it'd be neat for our hobby.
Well, that's the key for me is, you know, the whole reason I launched the channel was when George said, "Hey, I'll help you out. Let me just focus on the video stuff, because you got so much else going on during the race day." Is that I was like, just being able to archive this stuff, right? Like, you know how many times like you do something, you go, "Oh gosh, I just wish we started doing this from the beginning." Like we did it from the beginning. Race 1, day 1, we've got it from the beginning. And I would kill for that, for what we did back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Right. Like think about the first Midwestern when Nick won it. Did they even have?
Well, honestly enough, we did capture that on video. Actually, Nick's dad was we had a 2-story house, and he was up in a window and videoed the whole thing.
Get out of here.
Lost it all in a flood.
No.
Because it was on VHS.
Now it's out there, man. But
it's out there forever.
YouTube is out there forever. That sucks, because I would have loved to seen
there's some good
Saccone
stuff.
whooping some tail.
Oh, yeah.
Especially yours.
We had some good stuff. Yeah, and he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it is for me. Initially was like, oh yeah, let's just put it up there. I'll start a channel, George. I'll make you, also where you can jump in there and you can upload stuff. And that's all I thought of it at first. But, now we started this podcast, and yeah, we've got multiple angles, and there's the possibility that we can do some editing and put those into a little show that like shows the race, kind of like they do on TV, just
right,
a little edited segment.
The way you promote the race, and kind of, and then also being kind of the, track owner / guy that kind of keeps everybody in line during race day, it's a great format, right? And I would love for people to experience that format, right? Like how we do, we've talked about it in the past, right? How we draw numbers for our starting positions, right? Like that's the cool for our heat races and all that. So
yeah, and you actually get to pick. You actually get to pick your own heat race.
Yeah.
Which is getting really fun now, because the more guys race with each other, it's like,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to race in that guy's heat race, right?
Yeah, so it'll be neat to get that captured. But I think the biggest thing too now is like, if you're thinking of getting into the sport or the hobby, and you just want to see how we roll, right? Or if you're thinking about coming to the underground, and you want to shoot us a note, check out the YouTube. Like seeing those races, the competition. I mean, it's not like there's one guy that just goes out and cleans house every week or every month, right? Or every race. It's multiple guys. I mean, Steve Clark, right? From Scuff Racing. I mean, that guy was lights out. He was so darn fast. I didn't think anybody was going to be able to keep up with him at the Midwestern, but you get all those different guys running. It's not one guy every weekend, right? It's somebody else. And so you get a good glimpse of the competition. You also get to see how terrible of a driver I am from time to time. So keep that in the back of your mind. Stay away from the Zero Wabam car. I'll try and stay clear of you as well. But, just check it out. You see that competition. I think it's cool, and we're just going to keep expanding it, right? So if somebody wants to go on YouTube and check out my terrible driving habits, where do they got to go, Dave?
They just have to go to RC Underground Wisconsin, or just WI. So it's okay. RC Underground WI.
Yeah, see, I've got it in my little favorites, so it just kind of bloop pops up every time, and I know when George is adding content on there. So, again, YouTube is a great platform, not only to archive the cool stuff that we've done, but it's fun to watch. I mean, people just really get a kick out of it. And we talked about this, Dave. We're not doing this for money. I mean, who?
Yeah, no, I'm not looking for YouTube hits. Like I said, it's all about the archive. But it's also a place, we're going to expand the content. Like,
right.
We want to do some of this live stream. We want to do some pre-race stuff, and after the race, get a driver on there. I mean, yeah, this is our little moment of fame, right?
Right.
People want to tune in, great. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Yeah,
you know?
watch something else. It's all good.
Yeah.
We're not and we're not going to quit our day jobs, so it'll just be fun. And that's what's cool about it. I think we'll all put our little spin on it, right? For all of us underground racers. It'll be neat what's coming down the pike. And I'm excited about it because that for me is like the fun part, right? And I know you love to promote. So that'll be a lot of fun. But honest to goodness, check out the racing. It's so good. And the amount of sorries, we talk about the sorry jar, right? Oh my gosh. Watch the videos and see if you can count the number of sorries. You can't do it. You're going to have to take off your shoes and your socks to count them. But you'll get who we are, what we're about. Just watch them. It's going to be fun. Continue to watch them because there's just going to be more and more coming on. And we've got more racing coming up this season. And, it's pretty cool.
Yep, absolutely. So just a reminder, if you want to go out there, it is RC Underground WI on YouTube, and you know what to do. You got to go out there. You got to like it. You got to subscribe and do all those things. Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Yeah. Scream it from the mountaintops, too.
Right. So when you hit that bell, that'll tell you when George or myself have been up there loading some content. And then you might actually finally see our faces for radio up there doing some live streaming. So again, thanks for joining us, Ryan. Thanks for jumping in this segment.
It's been awesome, buddy.
We're just cranking out episodes, man.
I love it. Keep on listening.
Have a great night, everybody.